Good morning. Ira Epstein with your Morning Flash Update. And this update is for the morning of Thursday, and we're now at the 21st of August, 2025. A lot of news day, so big amounts today that you got to digest. Atlanta Fed President Bostic this morning said that he is in favor of one interest rate cut this year. Jobless claims rose. Now, you got to take these numbers over the next couple of weeks with a grain of salt. The kids have gone back to school in many parts of the country. Services that were taking care of them, those people probably go into the unemployment. As we come down in a number of services at other places, they shut down. Think of all the swimming pools, tennis courts, and all those things that start going on for summer activities across the whole country. So I expect a bump there. Then we get the Philly Fed Business Index, and it was down 0.3. They expected it up 7. That's a huge difference. Prices paid. This is inflation. If you don't have to believe me, but this is what's going on. There's your inflation part. The employment index was up half of what it was the month before. We're looking at the new orders index actually down, maybe pricing scaring some people off finally. Inventories, they're drawing on those inventories, see it? And as they're replacing, they're also moving prices up that they have to do. The paid index up. So to me, this is what that shows. This is behind today's drop, I think, in the stock market early on. In a few minutes, we're going to get the S&P Preliminary August manufacturing sector PMI. We're going to get the Conference Board releasing July leading, coincident, and lagging indicators, existing home sales at 9, the EI natural gas storage at 9:30, and all day long, you're going to see interviews on CNBC, on Bloomberg, with the different people that are showing up as the Jackson Hole Symposium, bankers from all over the world, the people that determine and try to figure out what to do with interest rates. And I must tell you, I think that yesterday's FOMC minutes showed that the Fed is not worried about in labor. They're more worried about inflation and this gradual impact of these tariffs. Now, on that note, a good news is the United States and the EU have, looks like it, finally wrapped up their trade deal. Pharma's only going to be nothing higher than 15% tariffs. They're talking reductions in steel imports from them with tariffs. There's good things happening. You want to look at the auto. I'll cover all this in detail today in my newsletter this morning. So be ready for that to come out for you. And you want to see that. As you can see, the stock market, day after day down. It's finally doing and not defying logic. Do you remember 3 weeks ago, I was talking this is the worst month of the year typically to try to trade a lot of these financial markets. It's come true. You had that early rally the first week and a half, and since then, we have been under pressure and pain. Gold, I think, will get a bid as the dollar has to decide what it's going to do, but I think the inflation will come into play here. You see silver gaining back on gold. You got one day where it wobbled, and that's about it. I've been writing a lot about Russia and Ukraine because it appears to me that, and you've heard me say this, that Putin's playing our president. And it's all about, if you saw Lavrov come out yesterday as foreign minister and saying, well, you guys can all talk about defense and set up a defense strategy. However, Russia and China want to be involved. And with that, we want to have veto power over whatever you do. So let me see. We're going to have peace. We'll invade you again. We'll veto that you guys can come to the aid of Ukraine, and Ukraine should give up land. You think that's the making of a deal? Maybe I'm too simplistic in it, but I don't. In the grain markets, we're still getting crop tours. That's what you get right now. And the market's getting a little bit of a bid off of it. They're a little concerned that some of the areas aren't as good as they were as they keep moving east. So that's interesting to see. Bonds and notes, well, I think there's a lot of fear here as to which way the different Fed members that do talk over the next 2 days will do. Will they upstage Chairman Powell? Not President Powell. Chairman Powell, don't know. And what is Powell going to say? In that vein, as you're breaking down the NASDAQ still, you're taking Bitcoin with it back to the 113,000 level. I doubt it's going under 100,000 anytime soon, but it is laying down and not going up. Now remember, I talk all these technical indicators, and you can keep up with them by simply going and getting our different two volumes of explanation, spreads, Elliott wave, GAN, so many different indicators in here. The Rune indicator, price-time relationship, that's really what it's called. Options, do you trade options? Well, here's a pretty interesting primer that shows you what it's all about. Money management. If you don't have money management skills, you get wiped out in futures, 1, 2, 3. So how do you get it? It's real simple. Just move your cursor right up here. There's an icon, or go to iraepstein.com. Free offers, all the things you need are right here. I'm Ira. You have yourself a good trading day. I'll be putting out my updates as the day goes on, and I'll see you at the end of the day with our market wrap-ups. Take care.